Alright, here we go. This is a 1v1 custom match on Crater between the blue player on the left side, darkblaze47 in the Envision Osprey, and his opponent, the green player on the right side, NuclearPizza in the Steampunk Bomber. Looking at the loadouts, both players have chosen to take armadillos, and that, I guess, is due to these... I mean, a lot of people have been going dillos more than longhorns nowadays, just because they are a little bit easier to micro and visually, although, you know, it's kind of like the whole... Everyone kind of thinks of it as kind of like a 2-to-1 effectiveness longhorn to dillo, give or take, kind of thing is how you should compare them. There obviously are a lot more factors to consider, but you know, just thinking about it that way, it's double the micro. It's double the micro intensiveness, but you know, it's still really good to be able to have more than you know, to have them in different locations, just like that what NuclearPizza was doing. He was corner defending with 2 dillos, which is much cheaper than corner defending for example 2 longhorn. We do see an Aegis on darkblaze's loadout, so that will, I don't know how effective that will be here on this map and against a bomber. I guess slightly effective against his bombs, but not really that much. We do have only moneymakers as the socket units for both players, and we do have Archies on Darkblaze's loadout, and Berthas actually, but if you look at Nuclear's loadout, he does not have Berthas. He actually only has Arties, which is actually probably what I would think is the less common one nowadays among higher tier players, because of just the nature of how artillery works, and people have just been realizing it's not really about the power. It's really about the range. So if you have that extra range, you know, that Archie versus the Artie, it's not really that big of a deal to have slightly more power, but that extra range does have a huge effect. To have that freedom and positioning is really important. Not necessarily important, but it just gives you that many more options. Darkblaze pushing up with a bunch of dillos over here, varying instead of moving them, or setting them on capture, and does get killed by those neutral hats. And Nuclear is the one setting them on attack instead of you know, instead of varying them. And actually, I think they're on capture. I'm not exactly sure how many waypoints there are on Crater, but looking at these positionings here, it looks like that there's quite a lot. I would assume at least 8, if not more. Nuclear does go down to Darkblaze, coming back, you know, trying to finish off that tank, and Darkblaze almost getting killed by the neutral hats again, but now dropping a lot of infantry, but is not able to take this outpost. And at this point, Nuclear still has control of it, even though he has died. Bringing more infantry, probably going to be able to take this and you know, grab it. Yes, not any fire at all. Actually, going down in the middle outpost. No artillery actually down for Darkblaze, which is very uncommon on Crater. So that does give NuclearPizza a slight opening to take this opportunity to push some dillos up. And Darkblaze actually hasn't seen this yet, and he is going with the infantry drop down here. But Nuclear with a great defense over here. Dillos, bunkered infantry, so this will give him a huge amount of time to respond. He does see, I'm pretty sure he does see Nuclear, one of the highest level players in the game, but you know, just sending more dillos over here, not exactly worried about that. And actually, you know, that outpost drop was completely failed by Darkblaze. And now we have a lot of dillos coming at the fort for NuclearPizza at Darkblaze's fort. Darkblaze trying to get whatever he can to block off here with these dillos, but you know, not get these severely outnumbered here by NuclearPizza's dillos. So that and they're actually already here in a great formation here. I guess Crater's pathing is a lot better than the normal maps nowadays, because it isn't one of the newer maps. So, but Nuclear now using this multi-pronged attack, going for this outpost and going for the fort damage as well. Right now, Darkblaze is actually losing on both fronts, I would say, because Nuclear has a lot of units at both areas, and Darkblaze doesn't have... Yeah, I mean, it's about even here, maybe a little bit more for NuclearPizza, and Darkblaze, you know, obviously with this outpost control, is going to be able to drop a lot from his build queue, but Nuclear with infantry, going to be able to get this neutralized. I don't see a way for Darkblaze to keep this. Yes, he does lose it, and at this point, Darkblaze has more tanks over here, but NuclearPizza has been able to neutralize this, and has still, look at it, Darkblaze only has a third of his life left, give or take, at this outpost, and now Nuclear has been able to grab this outpost. Not for long, obviously, and Darkblaze has quite a lot of tanks over here, and Nuclear's not going to be able to actually hold this, or not necessarily hold it, but continue his attack here, because everything has been killed. No more infantry, no more nothing over here for NuclearPizza. This is a completely dillo-surrounded outpost for Darkblaze, and at this point, Darkblaze really does need to kind of wall up here at his fort, because he has almost no life left, and Nuclear, you know, if he just continually does drops, he will be able to eventually get this this match. Now, but the problem is he is the bomber. He doesn't have any. Oh, he only has 1 point in Manta Strike actually, but and so he won't be able to do that much damage firing in. It will be a little bit time consuming, a little bit difficult with that Manta Strike, but doing a great job microing around like crazy. darkblaze does get a lot of good blocks off, but loses just a little bit more life, and every little bit helps. And now NuclearPizza with bombs, gonna use that double bombing, multi-bombing, I guess. That double, I guess you can consider it double bomb types, I guess. With the ability bombs and the normal unit bombs. He is gonna try to kill whatever units he can, finishing off this Dillo. Right now darkblaze has. Let's see how his wall is looking. It's looking fairly good. He does have most of them concentrated on the front door, which is exactly what he should do. He puts a couple Seekers just to prevent that extra micro that's going to go down by NuclearPizza. But the thing is, he's really, really far behind right now. NuclearPizza has an insane defense at both of his close outposts. The thing is, his weak spot, I guess, if you could say, if you can call it that, is this the center close outpost, which is pretty much undefended. But the thing is, he does have to pass through mid, which is controlled by NuclearPizza at this point to be able to actually get there. And now just trying to spam infantry. I think those were creeps brought over here and not getting neutralized. Gonna get actually taken down by NuclearPizza on the way back. And now NuclearPizza with, oh man, he has money makers in queue. So that is going to just put him way ahead if darkblaze doesn't take care of this, and he's just going to produce way more units. He doesn't have any generators in his loadout, but he can just throw units away with so many more moneymakers than darkblaze has. There are four, count them, 4 sockets here at mid for Crater. Not exactly as powerful as the island-protected Sandrum, but NuclearPizza does get finished off on the way to darkblaze's fort, so that will be a completely nullified drop there, and darkblaze is going to do what he can to. He is going to go for the front door. I thought he might have gone for that center close, but he does not. He goes for the front door, and I don't know I mean, I guess he's just trying to force Nuclear to spend a little bit of time here while he uses this time to push out mid. For NuclearPizza is not very defended. He only has 4 Dillos, and if darkblaze just goes kind of all in, not completely all in, but fairly all in, he will be able to grab that middle outpost. But now NuclearPizza does set more down, gonna fire down on darkblaze. darkblaze does not get finished off on the in his retreat, so Nuclear is gonna be able to finish these Dillos off, trying to finish them off with Manta Strike, but not really gonna. Oh, what great timing! Alternating between Manta Strike and his melee attack is just really, really effective, killing those Dillos with extreme efficiency. And now darkblaze is going to be, he has actually neutralized his outpost, pushed up with a lot of Dillos, and now he actually has the surround on this outpost. No artillery out for any. This is the weirdest Crater match I've ever seen. There are no artillery out, I think. I'm pretty sure. Loadout counters on replays are 100% wrong for the most part, guys. Just if you're not already, or if you haven't been watching my videos and just never paying attention to the loadout counters because they're wrong, I don't ever look at them, but I don't see any freaking artillery, and this is Crater. I'm gonna repeat this a couple times. This is Crater. There is no artillery on the field, and these are extremely high-level players, and they have artillery in their loadout. It's not like they agreed on a no artillery game. They don't have any artillery out right now at all. So I really do commend the style of play between these two players extremely aggressively, just going with tanks, going with pushes, going with the timing pushes, actually, is what they're doing, and that's pretty much the only pushes that have been happening this entire time, and darkblaze using this fairly large Zillow push to divert NuclearPizza's attention, and he is going for the bottom outpost using that diversion. He's probably going to be able to get this neutralized, and he is queuing up probes after these Dillos, and so that will force NuclearPizza to come back here and respond, but he only has a couple Dillos in his loadout, and darkblaze microing around beautifully. This game has been quite turned around. Now darkblaze doing a lot of aggression at this outpost. He really needs to go back and get those probes, probably queue up a couple more, but he is going to get the neutralized, definitely going to get the neutralized. So Nuclear is not going to be able to bring anything out of queue anymore, and he's getting a great heal on all these units, microing them around, keeping them alive, and NuclearPizza just trying to use his melee to finish off these Dillos, because that's what he needs to do, and he actually doesn't have any infantry in his queue right now. He's forced to go with creeps, and at this point darkblaze is just continuing the pushing. Oh no, he is putting these down for defensive purposes, and he is going for the fort. He is going to go for another front door attack, but there sees a bunch of Dillos there, so with the correct decision, going with the side door, and NuclearPizza will have to take care of this himself. So with this slight opening, I don't know how much time this is going to be for him, but darkblaze is going to use these Dillos to He's going to put them down in fence. He has a Goliath in queue, so he is starting Goliath production, and NuclearPizza has lost this middle outpost and those moneymakers there, so that that economy advantage that I was talking about before is completely gone. He actually only has one moneymaker socketed here, is replacing it now, and now darkblaze continually making Goliaths. I don't think that is the same one. Yes, he does have one here right at the entrance to this middle area to have that defense against whatever comes through, if anything at all, and we still don't have any artillery on the field. I am very, very confused, because that is how you play Crater. I mean, regardless if you agree with that playstyle or not, if you wanna succeed well in Crater, generally, I mean, I'm just talking fairly standard here, guys. I'm not one of the extremely high-level innovative players, but, you know, talking standard, you make artillery on Crater, get a great spread, focus on that middle outpost, focus on whatever units that the enemy puts down, and that's how you get this victory. And right now, I still don't see any artillery down. So I'm just not really sure the direction that these players are deciding to go. But I do like it, though. I do really like this style of play. There is a lot of Goliath down here for NuclearPizza, and he is starting to push out now. He is dropping them all over the cliff, so that will save a lot of movement line area, movement distance. I guess, sure, whatever. Movement distance for these Goliaths, and they are going to be able to demolish pretty much everything over here. There are only two Goliaths over here, and darkblaze now comes back to see it, but with that Osprey heal, if he focuses them on the Goliaths on the front, I'm not sure where he's going here. I guess he might be giving up on mid. You know, this is way past halftime heal now, though, so he has a lot more of his life left. But darkblaze going for the front door. Yes, NuclearPizza has to try to get a block off, and darkblaze almost going to be killed. Gonna die. Definitely going to get killed by NuclearPizza's bombs. And at this point, he will pretty much lose mid. Completely surrounded by green tanks. You know, completely surrounded by green tanks. I just said that, but yeah. And it's not just tanks, generic tanks. These are Goliaths. These are Goliaths, and they are continuing to proceed toward darkblaze's other outposts. And now darkblaze does see that they are still moving. And he will be able to put down those Goliaths in defense wherever he feels like the highest threat will be. But if he probably should stall until he sees where NuclearPizza decides to micro these around to, and he does see that they are here on the middle, so he probably will start putting down his defensive Goliaths. And with that extra heal, with this Osprey, is going to be able to get a lot of extra damage. And he really needs to put the Dillos behind the Goliaths, so the Goliaths take the brunt of the damage. But there are 5 Goliaths sitting over here, 6 actually for NuclearPizza. He does bring infantry, gonna get that neutralized, or at least gonna try to get the neutralized. darkblaze drops those Dillos back there, so he will be able to kill the infantry, but I don't think he's gonna be able to win this Goliath fight. He is queuing up another one, but NuclearPizza queuing up bombs, gonna multi-bomb again, and these Goliaths are just gonna go down. Oh man, there is not much time here for darkblaze. He probably, at this point, it's kind of clear that he will lose this fight, so he probably should just pull back a little bit. Yes, stationing the Goliaths on the other side of the outpost is step 1. He really does need to, I guess, kind of make this a trench warfare of tanks. Obviously, since these guys aren't making any artillery at all. And NuclearPizza, oh, actually, okay, I'm gonna say this. darkblaze is level 8. Okay, he's level 8, and he hasn't made any Berthas. I don't think I have ever seen that. Ever. Maybe in 2-star Mavericks, but right now with among high level or even mid to upper mid-level players, if you want to call it that, I've never ever seen that. There are no Berthas out on the field for darkblaze, and he is trying to win this fight, but he is trying to do it with Goliath, he is trying to do it with Dillos, and NuclearPizza is just doing a great job moving up here. He is definitely going to be able to neutralize and take this outpost with that many Goliaths surrounding, and at this point AoE is exactly what would help darkblaze take care of these Goliaths, but there's still no artillery out on the field. If either one of you watch this, I just really want to know if you guys agreed to something before the match that you just wouldn't use artillery, because this is just kind of strange to me. But right now, we do have NuclearPizza bringing up infantry, gonna be able to claim this outpost, and this is just gonna spell the slow downhill destruction of darkblaze's units and army and fort. He still only has a third taken out though after that halftime heal. And at this point, actually creating an incredibly good line of Goliaths to combat NuclearPizzas, but NuclearPizza, not an Osprey, is not able to, leave the Goliath, make the Goliaths move out further to have this fight. But darkblaze able to heal up his Goliaths really well, not giving up on this game actually. At this point, it would be a little bit discouraging to continue this fight, but darkblaze is just continually fighting. And you know, honestly, I thought when he took that middle outpost from NuclearPizza, I could have sworn that was going to be the end of the game for NuclearPizza, because at that point he had like very, very low power consumption, like meaning low upkeep, not too many. I guess if you want to call it something in StarCraft, would be low supply. But now NuclearPizza selling off a Dillo. I'm not really sure why he did that, because he didn't sell off that other Dillo. I thought he was starting to trade his credits, like Goliaths for, or Dillos for Goliaths or something like that. But now trying to heal up his Goliaths and doing bombing, and NuclearPizza can't do that much about this. That is the AoE that NuclearPizza is relying on, bombs and ability bombs. And doing a really good job healing up his Dillos, you know, keeping them alive, and just bombing, non-stop bombing here, and that is going to be extremely effective. darkblaze is just healing these tanks up and keeping them alive, but with that AoE splash that Nuclear has with those ability bombs and those unit bombs, I don't know how long he'll be able to keep this alive, especially because darkblaze has it so clumped up. He has even a Seeker mixed in there, but you know, the way that NuclearPizza is moving, he's not going to get hit, or not. Oh, and does take darkblaze down before he gets back to his support. And so at this point, Nuclear is going to be able to move out, bombs, Goliaths galore, gonna kill the majority of this clump, is going to put this other Goliath in front of the other one so it can take the damage instead, but does not actually work. That Goliath did go down, but now darkblaze pulling up above the cliff. Will not, I mean, that will, I'll definitely stop this cluster of Goliaths that Nuclear dropped, and Nuclear does get killed by darkblaze, so now this is darkblaze's chance. He really needs to move out his Goliaths, take this outpost in the time that NuclearPizza is respawning. And at this time, Nuclear is he has a Goliath, and okay, queuing up the infantry. I'm not really. He does cancel them, queue up another Goliath, and he is even though he has 30-something thousand in his bank right now, he is not spamming the button because of that whole power thing. If you do drop below, I think it's if you drop below 2/3 of your power, you build at half speed. So if you one thing that I try to do as much as possible is not spam a build button. You know, try to stagger your builds accordingly to you know, to your power consumption. And right now, darkblaze is actually kind of low on power and is actually doing not what I just said, you know, queuing up multiple Goliaths when it's not 100% necessary. That is a kind of a habit that is a remnant of the old unit cap system versus the current power system. A lot of people are used to just spamming build buttons just because that's, you know, all you had before is a 50 unit cap limit. And now we do see darkblaze coming out with a lot of Goliaths, but there are a fair amount of Goliaths here. Oh, I didn't notice this. It didn't really register in my head, but we do see a Bertha finally out on the field. darkblaze going, oh, does get taken out by NuclearPizza. Flying over here is super dangerous in Crater because there is this hat sitting here. There are those T99s that will catch up to you if you are carrying something. But right now, there are 5 Goliaths coming for NuclearPizza's mid. He will be able to get a great defense off just because there are already Goliaths over here and he just needs to ferry him over. But once the darkblaze does come back and is healing up these Goliaths and just microing them around really, really well, but under fire from NuclearPizza. NuclearPizza doesn't stay in the air to dedicate that kill on darkblaze. That might be one of the things that you want to do in this situation, is just to pressure the Osprey out of the area just like that. So it will give you a small opening to put more units in a better defensive position. The thing is, darkblaze bringing probes. I'm not really sure what that was about. I guess he planned on neutralizing that outpost, but those probes were kind of a sign that that's what he was trying to do. But the thing is, NuclearPizza did come back with a good defense, and he was not able to get that neutralized. But he is moving down now. He's moving his Goliaths down. With this Osprey, he's going to be able to keep them fairly alive, just like he has been doing the majority of the game. NuclearPizza is forced to do micro heals, micro pickup heals, I guess, is the big difference between not having an Osprey there. And at this point, Nuclear has been able to keep this middle outpost. That push has not worked on darkblaze, but darkblaze with a great line. This is exactly what you need to do. You need to keep your line perpendicular to the enemy's clump. And that will get a great spread. If you have seen that crossing the T concept that is on the forums, that is very, very popular. That is pretty much exactly what that is. darkblaze not overhealing anything that I can see, but he actually has been healing up this front Goliath, which is exactly what he needs to do. But NuclearPizza massing up more Goliaths. I'm not sure if he's planning on eventually just pushing out, or just planning on stationing some stuff around this middle outpost and waiting for darkblaze to come in. But now we do have 2 Berthas out on the field for darkblaze. And no Archies, or no Arties out on the field for NuclearPizza yet, but he is trying to slip by with his Goliath to the side, and he's trying to Manta Strike down. I would assume that Bertha is what he was going for, but he is missing a little bit, and not getting that great hit on that Goliath. But Darkblaze very low on life. Gonna get bombed. I don't know if he'll be able to get this finish on Darkblaze before he gets killed by those Seeker missiles, and he is forced to run away. Oh, but he does circle back very beautifully, and does get that kill on Darkblaze as he lifts off. And so now he will be able to kill this Bertha. I'm pretty darn sure. And I have heard recently that in the next patch, which might already be out by the time this video is out, but in the next patch, Berthas will have a weak spot on the back. So they will take double damage on the back, so they will be just like Longhorns / Goliaths / Geminis or Dillos, whatever. And at this point, Darkblaze has only one Bertha left. He hasn't queued. He is queuing up another one. And honestly, trading Goliaths for Berthas would be extremely effective right now. But NuclearPizza with a drop on the side door, gonna Manta Strike in, not prioritizing on the attacking units. And Darkblaze has not come back to respond to this yet. He has finished off sending all of his Goliaths, so he now will come back, get a block up on those Dillos. But NuclearPizza will probably reposition. Oh, he does grab that Dillo, but does get finished off in the air. And now Darkblaze is going to be able to retake this mid. I don't actually. Well, that's a little early to claim right now, but with a Goliath force and being the only mech here, and especially it being the Osprey, I do think he will be able to clear the majority of the units here in the middle before NuclearPizza comes back. And queuing up probes, definitely going to be able to grab this middle outpost. The majority of his units have been killed by the Goliath station over here, but he is going to be able to keep them alive with this Osprey. And NuclearPizza is starting to retreat his Goliaths. Oh no, he is starting to clump them up, but staying in just right up in front of those Goliaths, drawing to aggro is a little bit dangerous because one shot from all those Goliaths combined, I think, will probably kill him. But he is getting a great slash off and using his melee to a really good advantage here because those were clumped up Goliaths. But Darkblaze with great infantry spam, or great defensive infantry spam, is able to keep this outpost under his control, and is just using this combination of being an Osprey, using Goliaths, and defensive infantry spam to be able to keep control in this area. NuclearPizza bringing out another Goliath, but not going to be able to take it to the battlefield. Definitely not. He is a level 13 bomber, so he is transporting stuff fairly fast, but the majority, if not all, let me check. Okay, all of his Goliaths have been killed. And now NuclearPizza is on the defensive for sure. He does have to do exactly what has been done in this entire match, and just massive tanks, massive units, and yeah, he just needs to do a counter push or a great timing push, and do good scouting, just like what's been done by both players. And now Darkblaze trading Berthas for more Goliaths and actually doing a quick scout on the fort. Not going to be taken down by NuclearPizza here, I don't think. No, does get back to his middle outpost before he died, but it was really close, actually. That was really close. However, NuclearPizza has not been able to get that kill. He has a fair defense over here, but now level 4 creeps are leaking in. All the rocks have been destroyed. I do think they've been destroyed on this side as well. Level 4 creeps just massacre those neutral unit lines. And it's just really, really crazy. By the time you get to quarter 4, they are just straight up, they just kill everything in their path. You really do have to set defensive units, defensive units in whatever path they take if you don't want them to just completely take over your areas. And now Darkblaze pushing out with all the Goliaths here. NuclearPizza doing a quick flyby just to see if that's actually happening, and it's happening. And now Nuclear does have to station a bunch of Goliaths defensively as much as he possibly can. But once they get up to here, give or take, I do think that Darkblaze will micro them up to this top cliff. And now actually dropping one there on the lower area before the cliff, and now just healing them up. But the thing is, there are 2 Seekers here and NuclearPizza's fire, so Darkblaze won't be able to just sit here and heal. He really does have to. I mean, I would assume that maybe he should land, use the Goliath's fire, but gonna get killed by NuclearPizza. Oh man, and now this will give NuclearPizza an opening again. It's just opening after opening after push here in this match. And it's just, but the thing is now, oh, that's a lot of Goliaths. That is a lot of Goliaths. The thing is, though, the pathing here, I don't agree with the pathing here, because on the left side, if you do send a push, it will hit the front door, because the front door here is on the bottom on Crater. But here, the pathing brings you, instead of up here where the front door is this way, it brings you all the way down here. And so now these tanks are not going to go for the front door immediately. They are going to have to kind of be going around here. NuclearPizza, with a lot of tanks, with a lot of Goliaths in defense, I do think this will be enough, but I don't know how many of his units will survive, or how much of his support life will survive. But darkblaze with a really good micro ability here, going to get a good surround with Goliaths of all things that are going to be extremely damaging. Oh man, I don't know if NuclearPizza is going to be able to hold this off. He is forcing to block with Seekers, and there is not much here that he can do. Ooh, crap, man. Yeah, there is not much here that he really just needs to do. He's stalling with these Seekers, and if darkblaze respawns and just drops anything, if I were him, I would probably even queue up Dillos to get the finish here. But we are in overtime too, so we just hit it. So this is kind of crunch time for both players. The NuclearPizza gonna finish this off, but now darkblaze with more Goliaths. I don't know if he's gonna go for the bleed out win, or if he's gonna go for more drops or a push. I would assume at this point the style of this entire match from both players had just been aggressive pushes. This entire match, just aggressive push after aggressive push, and that is exactly what NuclearPizza is doing. He is pushing out. There is not much time for him left if you look at his life, and at this point darkblaze is actually, I think he's actually waiting for the push. He knows what's gonna happen. He hasn't done a scout yet, though, so I'm not sure if why he hasn't, checked that. But we do see a lot of Goliaths coming out for NuclearPizza. He is trying to stack them as much as possible, and at this point, oh, okay, so darkblaze is going to go for the bleed win. Obviously that is the safe way to go, because if he just goes for a drop and then loses mid, then he might actually even lose to a bleed out, and 1 or 2 extra fort drops. So he is going to go for the safe route here. NuclearPizza is going to try to push out here for darkblaze's fort. This will not go for mid. This will go straight past mid. It'll go down this ramp. It'll go back up this ramp, and it will go for darkblaze's fort. So I don't know if darkblaze is actually aware of this. He has not actually seen it yet. He does see a line on his minimap now, but I doubt he's actually noticed it. He is going to go for a push actually, and NuclearPizza going for with a Dillo drop here. This side of the fort is fairly open, and NuclearPizza does get killed. darkblaze with the Goliath on the side door, and this victory will go to darkblaze. darkblaze47 takes this win, this custom 1v1 on Crater against NuclearPizza. And wow, that was just probably the most back and forth match I have ever seen. And the beautiful thing about it was lacking artillery for pretty much the entire time. darkblaze had Berthas out for like 30 seconds, but he did, they died and he sold them off. So this was just a straight back and forth tank push match, and I do commend both players for playing this way. Very amazing match. If you do have any matches like this, NuclearPizza, that you play, and you want to share it with the world, do send it in to me, ruy0x@gmail.com, or RUI on Steam, or forum message me, or whatever, drop into Steam chat, yada yada yada. This is RUI, that's game. See you next time.